Hello everybody, Moarhammer here, and I've got another battle report for you. This is Game 3 from the Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament Heat 3. And it's a really, really good one. This game was an absolute laugh to play, so I really hope you enjoy it. It's my Daemons of Tzeentch against Daemons of Tzeentch. So you know it's going to be good. So, here is a picture of deployment. And this time we are playing Border War. So that's the mission where there is like a diamond shape of objectives in the middle. Your objective is worth 1 point to you, 4 points to your opponent, and vice versa. And then the two in the middle are worth 2 points each. And you score if you have the most models within 6 inches. So, on my side, starting on the far left, I've got my Herald and Chariot. Then I've got 10 pink horrors, 6 screamers, my Gaunt summoner in the centre there. Another unit of 10 pink horrors, behind which is the Blue Scribes and my Lord of Change. Then the other side of that building, I've got another 10 pink horrors and my burning Chariot. So, lots of stuff. Now, my opponent's side is just a massive horror. He's got... so the main bulk of his army is the Multidudinous Host. That's one of the Tzeentch Demon formations that every hero phase restores D6 models to each unit of pink and blue horrors, and D3 models to each unit of brimstone horrors, so they can just keep coming back, which was scary. On the far left, he's got a unit of blue horrors, then a unit of brimstone horrors, then a unit of pink horrors. Then in that wood, at the moment, only the base is there. He was sorting something out with a lot of change at the time I took the photo. There's a lot of change in that little wood. You can see the base. Then moving on, he's got a unit of 20 pink horrors, then 20 blue horrors, then another unit of 20 pink horrors. Behind that, you can kind of see him is the Herald of Tzeentch on foot. Then to the right of that big unit of 20 pink horrors, he's got a Herald on disc, a Gaunt summoner, who's just standing in that wood, so he's got another Gaunt summoner for me to oppose. Then another unit of 20 brimstone horrors, and 10 more pink horrors. So just a big swarm of horrors. He also had maybe about 150 points, I can't remember exactly how much, of summoning, so he could, basically, he could split. And he also had a Balewin Vortex if he needed it, so he had lots of options of stuff to do. So I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to deal with this, because I can't kill it. So I think my plan was I was going to get on the objectives early doors and hope that I could hold him off for just a couple of turns to get a really early lead. And if I get that early lead, he'll be on the back foot the entire game, and fingers crossed I could pull it out from that. So I do take the first turn because of that. I swap 2 units of pink horrors over just to get them that extra 9-inch move they need. And I swap another unit of pink horrors for my screamers. I want to send them forward straight away. My plan was to send them into the Lord of Change. If I get into combat, I should make a decent number of attacks. And if I can knock some wounds off, it'll get his gateway a little bit worse, because it'll go down to 4 up rather than 3 up. And it'll make it... he'll just be a lot easier to deal with, so that and then he can't get Mystic Shield or anything off to make him more survivable. That was kind of my idea there. And other than that, I was just going to start killing as many units as I can, starting from the outside, because his units in the middle, they're sort of further away from the objectives, and they're also bigger, they're harder to deal with. I just wanted to kill what was on the outsides. My Gaunt summoner does cast Summon Balewin Vortex. He goes up and he casts Bolt of Tzeentch straight at his Gaunt summoner, and he kills him, which was fantastic. Good Gaunt summoner. So I did actually have to use some Destiny dice to make sure I cast what I needed, but it was worth it because the Gaunt summoner is now dead. That's fantastic. Other than that, I don't cast a whole lot because I didn't have the range to. So into the shooting phase, and I don't do too badly actually. I do manage to shoot off an entire unit of pink horrors, or 9 of them at least. So when that last guy goes rolls a battle shock, unless he rolls a 1, he is gone. And what was quite interesting about this game is neither of us had any 1s in our Destiny dice pool, so we couldn't automatically bring horrors back in units, which was quite entertaining actually. Made things a bit more interesting. So yep, so that unit was gonely, so that was a good thing. The Screamers go into the Lord of Change, and I totally fluff my roll, and he makes a bunch of his armor saves, so I don't actually do any damage whatsoever to the Lord of Change, which is a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. Can't complain too much. So we go into his turn. So at the end of that, I score 5 points. So in his turn, he does do some stuff. He casts most of the spells that he can at the Screamers to get rid of them, and he does manage to do that. He gets rid of all of them, but not till after the movement phase, so his Lord of Change was at least pinned there for a while. So it was the shooting phase that really did the rest of the damage they needed to. But the rest of his army basically comes forward to start sort of dealing with stuff. But like I said, it was quite a slow army, which is really good for me. It meant that I didn't have any issues with losing the objectives this turn or him scoring them. So at the end of his turn here, he only scores a single objective, and he doesn't do any more damage because most of his stuff was out of range. So that was really good. So we go to the initiative roll, and I win it, which is again a pretty good time to win it, to be honest with you. So I use Infernal Flames on the big unit of pink horrors on the right, and I burn about 10 of them away. I end up doing a lot of shooting into them as well, and I kill all but 5 of them total in the shooting phase, which is really, really good. Other than that, I just kind of move a couple of my things around. I'm keeping my Lord of Change forward, but not too far forward. I don't want him to get shot off or anything. But I want him to kind of... Yeah, I wasn't too worried about what the blue horrors and pink horrors could do to me. It was mainly spells, and he is really good at dispelling, so that's quite a good thing. On the left-hand side, I do shoot a bunch of shots into the Brimstone horrors from my horrors as well as spells, and then I charge with my Herald on Chariot. I end up doing a bunch of damage. I kill about 8 or 9 of the Brimstone horrors. That was a really good start. Gets them down a little bit. And they regenerate slower than the rest, so fingers crossed that unit would be dealt with. So that's me kind of controlling both flanks. On the right-hand side, I also, with my Burning Chariot, I do a bunch of shooting into the Brimstone horrors, and I kill, out that unit of 20, I kill, maybe 13, 14 of them with 2 Exotic Flamers, so that was also really, really good. I end up charging them. I do a couple of wounds, but not that many. It does give him a really shaky battle shock, and he ends up losing all but 1 Brimstone to battle shock. So at the moment, I'm doing a really good job of controlling those flanks. The one issue was he did end up splitting the big unit of pink horrors into blue horrors. You can see them just to the right of the Dragonfate dais. I'm opposing my pink horrors. They kind of split there, dumped down there, and there was a bunch of them there. I think 10, maybe a bit more than 10 came out there, so that wasn't too bad at all. After that we go into his turn, and he does some stuff. So the units of Brimstone Horrors that I'd knocked out regenerated. He did roll a 1 for his battle shock on that middle unit of pink horrors, so he brought a bunch of them back, which is a bit, couldn't have done without that. And then he rolls a 5 for the Multidudinous Host, so he ends up bringing just a boatload of those horrors back, which was really disappointing. So they're all there now. But not only did they come back, but they've already split into blue horrors. So I've just increased their numbers, which is great. He does try to cast some spells, but I'm quite fortunate I managed to shut down a decent chunk of his magic phase. I use a bunch of my Destiny dice to do it, but I stop his Lord of Change from casting. I stop that big unit of pink horrors from casting. I think I stop his Herald on foot from casting as well. So it was really good. I was really happy to at least shut down a bunch of his damage. He cast a couple of spells at my Burning Chariot and knocked 5 wounds off it. He ends up trying to shoot it with a bunch of different stuff, but he doesn't quite manage to make that last wound. The one wound he got through, I ended up burning a Destiny dice just to make sure I saved it, so that guy wouldn't die, because having him there is really, really useful. In the combat phase, he does do some charges. The blue horrors that were opposing the pink horrors on the right, they charge in, but don't do a whole lot of damage. I do hit a couple of them back as well, but again, not much happens. So we go to the initiative roll-off, and I win it, which is not bad at all. These last 2 games I've been doing really well with initiative rolls, so that's very nice. So this is a picture of after the hero phase. I did swap my Burning Chariot for my Lord of Change, and then I kind of move him around a little bit. The idea was that the unit of his blue horrors on the right-hand side, they split into Brimstone horrors, and if I killed any more of the blues, they would be able to subsequently join that Brimstone horror unit. So I need to kill the Brimstones before I can kill the blues. So I end up shooting the Brimstones first with my Burning Chariot. I do kill them, Then everything else pulls shots into the blue horrors. I managed to get rid of all of them, which is fantastic. On the left-hand side, I charge off my pink horrors towards that left-hand objective. I end up using a 4 or 5 from my Destiny pool to run them to make sure I can just get within 6 of the objective and hold it for this turn. So that was really, really useful as well, to make sure that I can grab it. And he has to kill those pink horrors before he can move around further to the flank. And I'm doing a good job of keeping ahead in points. I'm about 10 points ahead of him at this point, so I'm doing a really, really good job of scoring those, which is great. On the right-hand side, I've got my Lord of Change. He ends up charging into combat with the unit of pink horrors that was there, and he really turns it up. He knocks it up a notch. He kills every single remaining pink horror that was there, which is fantastic. So they are not coming back anymore. And then to the right of them, as you can see, all those blue horrors are dead as well. So yeah, so that's that flank has now been totally tidied up. No more pink horrors, no more blue horrors, no more brimstone horrors. He's used all of his reinforcement points for splitting at this point, I believe. So didn't have any more issues with that, and that's fantastic. So we go into his turn, and he does do some stuff. He has no, in his hero phase, he has not much issue dealing with all of those 10 pink horrors. He gateways them, he casts a bunch of spells at them, and he kills all 10 of them with just spells. So I end up splitting them, which is this is why it's really nice to have summoning points, because I'd summon my Herald or something, and I just decided, hey, I'm going to use this for splitting because I need to capture objectives. So 10 of those guys split right there, which means that at the end of his hero phase, he's still got 10 of those guys to deal with before I can capture that objective. And the best part is, I know I've got Brimstone Horrors left that I can summon. I've got 120 points. These cost 50. If I spend 40 more, I can bring in Brimstones and stop him scoring that objective this turn. So I was unless he got into combat with me and killed me all in combat, but fingers crossed that wouldn't happen. Other than that, in the middle, his blues and pinks sort of move towards the Lord of Change and fire as many shots into him as possible. He does try to cast some spells at my Gaunt Summoner as well. He does plink a wound off, but I'm not too concerned about that. He's doing his job over there. And again, as long as he's not dead, his Disc Herald, who's just flown over to him, all the Lord of Change can't capture, unless they both come over here. But fingers crossed that wouldn't happen. So I kind of missed a picture at the end of this turn here. Sorry about that. But basically what happened is the pink horrors and the Brimstone horrors and the Lord of Change all charged into the blue horrors that were on the left-hand side. But that was all the charges that happened. So they all go in, they kill, but they don't actually manage to kill all the blue horrors. His Lord of Change totally fluffs his rolls, and the pink horrors don't manage to do very well. I do have to split, I think, about 5 or 6, actually it might be more than that, but it might be 7 or 8 blues into Brimstones, but I have 10 models there, so he's not capturing their objective, and I know that all I need to do at this point is clear these models up, and I can score the left-hand objective again, and the right-hand objective at the moment is pretty secure. So we go into the initiative roll-off, and I win it again. Oh, you know what? I lost the first game because I didn't roll my initiative rolls, and since then I've just been rolling them. What can you do? I've been so lucky with them. I swap over my Blue Scribes for my Lord of Change, and then I fly them both all the way as far as I can back. The reason I wanted to swap over my Lord of Change is because it got me within. I needed to get back to the central objective to defend it, because I was worried that he might have a bunch of models that can move onto it, and if he scores 4 points there, he's a goner. And all he needs to do, at this point, if he scored all the objectives, he would win. So I just need to make sure I can secure all the objectives and keep them off him. So on the right-hand side, I've got my pink horrors kind of forming a line, behind which is my Exalted Flamer, who took a couple of wounds. On the middle there, I've got my Burning Chariot, my Lord of Change, who, as you can see, took a fair few wounds from horrors last turn from shooting. And I've got my Blue Scribes and my Gaunt Summoner, so they're doing fairly well. When my Lord of Change did jump over, he gatewayed off his Herald on disc, so that's also quite nice. And everything else that could poured all their firepower into his pink horrors that were on the left-hand side, and I managed to kill every single one of them. All he's got left on that side is 5 Brimstone horrors. So I retreat from combat with the horrors that were in the left-hand combat, just to move away and get within range of that objective, and kind of yeah, so he would be really struggling to capture that one as well, because all he's got over there is a couple of horrors, and fingers crossed I could survive. In the shooting phase, also, I'd kill a bunch of blue horrors from the middle unit. It's not a big deal. It was just to get them kind of further, to diminish that unit in case they tried to charge in and get to deal with the pink horrors on my right-hand side. So we go to his turn, and he does do a fair bit of damage here. He manages to gateway off my Lord of Change, and he manages to kill my Gaunt Summoner. So it was sad to see my Gaunt Summoner get killed again. But you know what? That's not the end of the world. Other than that, he moves his blue horrors and brimstones where respectively towards the opposing units, and tries to charge in. And the combats basically don't go anywhere. I don't kill any of him. He doesn't kill any of me in both aspects or anything of note, which is really, really good. So I'm stopping him scoring both of those objectives too. On the bottom objective, his Lord of Change shoots off the Burning Chariot. He's got the Broad of Sorcery, so it's shooting, kills the Burning Chariot, charges into the Blue Scribes, but doesn't quite manage to kill him, which was fantastic. So the Blue Scribes is alive on 2 wounds. So he doesn't manage to capture my home objective either. And there you have it. That is the end of the game right there, end of turn 5. I scored about 20, he scored about 14, I think, in the end there, maybe a bit less. But ultimately, this entire game was down to me getting an early lead and then just keeping him off. He didn't have the speed to deal with me. Tying his Lord of Change, which is the only vaguely fast unit he's got up first turn, kept him back. His pink horrors, his blue horrors, his brimstone horrors, they just couldn't get over the objectives and score as he needed to. So the speed of the Change Host was really vital to this game. So it was a really fun game. And we were having such a good laugh because it was just horrors slapping each other for the entire game, and they're just rubbish in combat, so nothing was dying. But then you go into the shooting and magic phase, and swathes of stuff would just die, but then come back. So it was a really, really good fun game. We were laughing a lot about it. It was really, really nice to pick up the victory as well. So there you have it. That's another victory for the Daemons of Tzeentch. That's 2 major victories and 1 major loss after the first day, after Game 3 of Heat 3. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll get back to you soon with Game 4.